Good stuff. At this time, we will have the audit presentation, Drescher and Malecki.
Thank you. My name is Charles Trottier. I'm with Drescher Malecki. This will serve as the audit presentation for the fiscal year ended June 30, 2025. So all the numbers that we go through today reflect numbers from 3 months ago. So you should all have a packet or a presentation with you. There's also the financial statements that were attached to the agenda. Those financial statements are in draft form. It's still going through our quality control review process. At the time of the draft, we were still waiting on a number from the state as it affects a long-term liability. That number has still since come in. We should be ready to release by the end of the week or early next week. So bearing any concerns, questions, comments, we'll be ready to roll. So just going through the presentation that you have in front of you, the first slide, products for our audit, what you will receive as a result is the basic financial statement themselves. This is the document that shows all your balance sheet items, your statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance, and it has footnote disclosures. And in that document, all the pages in there are the property of the district. All the information in there is sourced from the business office, your financial accounting system. There's 3 opinions that belong to us. The very first one is at the front of the financial statements. It's on the numbers themselves and whether they can be relied upon by outside users. Can banks rely on these numbers, credit agencies, and your residents? And our opinion is an unmodified opinion, which is the best you can get. It basically means that these financial statements are free of material misstatement, and based on our test, we believe that these numbers fairly present the results of operation and the balance sheet of the district. The second opinion that belongs to us, the second and third opinions are on the back of the financial statements. The first one of those 2 is on internal controls. If there were to be any deficiencies in the way you did things as far as purchase or policies, procedures, whether banks be reconciled, your purchasing policies not being followed, we'd have to disclose any material weaknesses or significant deficiencies, but there are none. We did significant testing over your internal controls, and we don't believe there to be any material weaknesses or significant deficiencies to report on. The very third opinion, the very last opinion that's on the back, is on your federal spending. As a recipient of well over $750,000 in federal funds, you're subject to a federal single audit. We essentially put our federal agent hat and we look at the compliance that's set forth by the Office of Management and Budget at the federal level, and we have to test your high dollar federal programs on it every 3 years. On top of that, we have to test lower dollar programs if we were to identify any risk in them. This year, we tested the child nutrition cluster, and there are no what we call question costs. So all the costs that go through child nutrition, all the eligibility requirements were met. So a clean audit for all 3 opinions. The second bullet document that you receive as a result of the audit is a management letter. We use management letters to communicate any best practices that we see across other districts in the county. We do have the opportunity to audit, I believe, 22 local school districts. And so this year we had a lot of recommendations in the past with ARPA monies and other items, but this year the only item that's included in your management letter is future accounting pronouncements to be aware of. There were no other items based on our testing, again, controls, which were operating effectively, that merit any disclosure in the management letter. The third document is an auditor communications letter. We just met with the audit committee, but it's really just the written letter that addresses requirements of an audit, what our role is, what management's role is, what the committee's role is. And there's certain things in there that make it so that our opinion is reliable. So for instance, we have to disclose that we are independent. Myself, anyone at Drescher Malecki is an independent of Eden School District. If there were to be any disagreements, we'd have to disclose that in that letter. If there were to be anything new, the way the financial statements look this year compared to last year, new accounting pronouncements, new standards, new estimates, we'd have to disclose it there. So this year it's going to be very similar to last year. There were no federal governmental changes to disclose. So nothing to be concerned about there. The very last bullet is an extra classroom activity report. We also audit the compliance with the state for extra classroom activity funds. We look at receipts, we look at disbursements across all programs. We looked at ledgers are being maintained, they're being signed off, the advisors are performing their responsibilities, the students are performing their responsibilities, and the central treasurer is performing hers as well. Again, that's a compliance audit with the state, and everything that we've tested was followed in accordance with the guide. So a clean audit all around. Just going through some numbers in your presentation there. Next slide talks, it looks at your revenues and your expenditures over the last 5 years. If you look at the far right, we didn't put numbers there, but your total revenues were $35 million. Total expenditures were $34.84 million. So your net change between your revenues and your expenditures was $145,000 on a budget of about $40 million. So pretty minimal, $145,000. Again, it's your increase in fund balance this year. But when we look at 5 years ago compared to where we were today, 5 years ago, 2020, 2021 was the first full year under the pandemic. Revenues dropped, a lot of the expenditures, salaries and benefits stayed in the general fund. What happened in 21, 22, 23, those expenditures were moved to the special aid fund to help receive the 100% reimbursement from the federal government. So spending went down in the general fund, revenues went up with one-time significant increases of sales tax, interest earnings, state aid. So a lot of one-time revenues that aren't expected in the future. So that's where you see the gap in those middle years. Looking ahead, as we can see, the gap has closed and is closing quickly. We don't know of any new revenue sources that's going to help boost that blue line, but we know that your spending follows a lot of the labor contracts and salaries. So we know the trends that are going to follow. Year to year, revenues grew $640,000. $300,000 was state aid, $60,000 interest, $50,000 sales tax were some of the major increases. Expenditures grew $1.1 million. $900,000 of that was transportation for kind of catch up on supply of buses. So 2 years worth of purchase for buses that was delayed in the prior year. So that represents the bulk of the increase in the expenditures. Just looking ahead again, if we were to take away that $900,000 increase in transportation and we just put in a 2% increase in expenditures, assuming that revenues are going to stay consistent, your expenditures would be exceeding your revenues for 25-26. The next chart there breaks down your total fund balance. It breaks it down into restricted fund balance, your reserves. That red portion went up $1 million. So again, you had years of funding with new increased sales tax, interest earnings, and state aid. You're using those one-time revenues to fund your reserves. Retirement went up $220,000. Capital project reserve went up $770,000. The unrestricted portion went down $1 million. We break that down on the next slide. The unrestricted, that makes up what we call assigned fund balance and unassigned. The assigned fund balance represents how you appropriate money in next year's budget. So it makes up your encumbrances, your outstanding purchase orders that you've committed in next year's budget, your rollover encumbrances. Those went down $940,000. And what you appropriate, unassigned fund balance that's appropriated in the budget for future years, that also went down $110,000. The blue portion represent what you have as unassigned fund balance or available for use. School districts are restricted to maintain 4% of spending in that unassigned category. So that increase of about $100,000 is to keep up with that 4% limit that's set by New York State's real property tax law, section 1318, which we see on the next slide. And it has been the goal of the district to maintain that 4%, even during the COVID years, which we saw a lot of other local school districts exceed that percentage. And again, school districts are limited to 4%. We also get to audit towns, cities, villages, counties, and their best practice of their unassigned category has been documented to be about 16-17%. So they don't have the cap that school districts do have, but Eden does strive to maintain that legal compliance at 4%. My information is on the last slide, along with Nick Petronic, who's the manager who oversaw a lot of the day-to-day. If you have any questions throughout at this point or throughout the year, we're always available. And again, we do have the opportunity to audit a lot of other school districts. So any questions are welcome at any time.
Charles, thank you.
You're welcome.
I didn't eat before I came. Next, we have the presentation Scholar Athlete School of Distinction by Mr. Owanko.
Good evening, members of the school board and Superintendent Mr. Sortisio. I'm excited to reflect and share with you tonight some highlights from our past spring season and overall athletic programs. I want to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude on behalf of the entire athletic department for your support and dedication to our school's athletic programs. During the spring season, we offer our students an opportunity to participate in one of our 18 sports teams at various levels. My goal will always be to get more students involved in athletics. Over the past couple of spring seasons, we roughly had about 49% of our students playing in a spring sport. This fall, we're right there. We have 374 student athletes for our fall, which is about 63% of our student body participating in sports as well. One thing that I'm very proud of, our Scholar Athlete team, our girls lacrosse team finished at the top, but I've been here for 6 years and I've never gotten this award, so I'm really excited to brag about this a little bit. It was the first year at our AD meeting in the summer, we get nominated for School Athletics School of Distinction. So we got this nice little plaque right here, which pretty much means every varsity team was a Scholar Athlete team, which means 75% of them had a 90% or better, higher average. So it's the first time that we had it and the first time that every team, varsity team, had it. So I'm really excited that we got this and really proud of our student athletes for putting in the work, not just in the playing field, but also in the classroom as well. So super proud of that one this year. This spring, every varsity team, like I said, we also hosted a signing day for Andre Canisto, who is currently running cross country this fall for Daemen University. I also want to say congratulations to Coach Archibald, Coach Michele, and our girls lacrosse team who went to win the Class D Section 6 championship last spring. To close out every school year, we proudly host the Senior Sports Banquet, last year marking our 21st annual celebration. At this banquet, every senior athlete is recognized with a gift from our sports boosters. We honor student athlete excellence by presenting our top 10 awards for both female and male athletes. And this photo right here highlights this year's award recipients. At this time, I would like to bring up our quarterback, Brady Waring, a senior and a student athlete here at Eden. He also plays lacrosse for us. I'd like to give him an opportunity to share with you all his positive experience with Eden Athletics.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Brady Waring. I'm a senior student athlete here at Eden High School. Today I'm going to answer the question, what does it mean to me to be a Raider? To me, being an athlete here at Eden means more than just playing a sport. It's about representing my school with pride and giving my best effort on the field, in the gym, in the hallways, and most importantly, in the classroom. After spending the first 2 years of my high school career elsewhere, coming back to Eden last year reminded me of how special it is to be part of this community. Being a Raider is also about showing respect to my teachers, my coaches, my opponents, and the game itself, while building school spirit and setting an example for my peers and the younger students. Sports have the opportunity to bring everyone together. There's no better feeling than taking the field on a Friday night, being the quarterback of the football team, and looking up in the stands and along the fence, seeing my fellow students, my friends, my family, and most importantly, my whole community there to support this school. Throughout my time here, I've learned how to balance schoolwork and practice and continue to push myself to grow and support my teammates like family. For me, being an athlete at Eden is about more than wins and losses. It's about teamwork, commitment, and being part of something bigger than myself.
So Brady, again, thank you for sharing your experience. I know I told you this beforehand, but kind of special moment. If you look it up over here, they just changed the most touchdown passing in a game. I don't know if on Friday, if anyone heard, we won a football game 63-62 in a shootout there. And Brady Waring actually set the state record for most touchdown passes in a game with 9. So I just want to congratulate that and a team effort on that as well. All the success we had this past spring is because of the dedication the dedicated people that we have in our athletic program. I want to take a brief time to thank all the athletes, coaches, game day supervisors, maintenance department, technology department, transportation department, and our athletic trainer, and especially my athletic secretary, for their help this past spring season. I'm proud to work with each and every one of you. In closing, I just have a short picture slideshow. I just want to show you guys for the spring season. That's all I got for you guys today. Oh. Thank you, guys.
Jay, is that going in a trophy case?
It is.
Okay. Just checking.
Anything else? Nothing?
No, well done. Well done.
Yeah, congratulations, Jay. Appreciate your leadership, and you always put the student before the athlete. And we've talked about that before, and you set the standard, and your coaches and the student athletes are meeting and exceeding them in some cases. And Brady, great game Friday night. I really enjoyed watching you and the team play. It was a little bit of a barn burner, but it was a lot of fun as well. And your name's in the record book, and it's always going to be there. So congratulations. You're welcome.
At this time, are there any requests to remove any items from the consent agenda? No. That upon the recommendation of the superintendent, consensus items be approved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carried.
District clerk report.
Please be advised that Alan Silver has resigned his Board of Education position effective immediately. The following are the Board of Education's options to fill a vacancy pursuant to Section 5.15 of the school law. 1, call a special election within 90 days once the vacancy occurs. The elected person serves for the remainder of the unexpired term. 2, choose to appoint a qualified person to fill the vacancy. A vote of the majority of the whole board is required to fill a vacancy by appointment. The appointed person takes office immediately upon filing their oath of office, and the appointed person serves only until the next regular school district election, where they would need to rerun for a full term. Or 3, choose to leave the vacancy open until the next election.
Okay. Yes. So I'm going to go back almost 10 years ago. I was the last one to go through this situation. So I was brought in with an interview I didn't really know much about the school board. I was working with the sports boosters at that point in time. So I got brought in and, basically sat in for an 8-minute interview. I think there were a few other people that interviewed for the position, and almost 10 years later, here I am still. So, I can speak from that level of what happened. My opinion, I don't know if we really need to go out for a full election. So I think first option is kind of off the table. And, there was talk about resumes, cover letters, some stuff like that. Back 9.5 years ago, I probably wouldn't have done that myself. So, that's what I can speak, like I said, and I know Jack and Jen were on the board, and I think you guys were on for like 4 months, 5 months at that point in time. You guys are just starting your first,
Campbell resigned.
Yeah. you guys are serving your first part of your term. So, I'd known Jack a little bit working with him at Sports Boost, but I didn't know Jen at all. And, so here's my whole thing. As a district who has maybe missed on a few appointees in the past, I say we throw something out there. If we find the right person, we find the right person, but we just don't find a person to fill the position. I know there's a couple times we've gone out for some hiring and the right people didn't come out, so we went back and reposted. So, I would maybe ask Amanda, and this is just my opinion, if anybody else has some other ideas, we post something out there to see if we get anybody that's interested. No one's really run for a board position in quite some time. So we've really haven't had a contested board position other than one.
Do we know if we post to appoint someone and it doesn't, like, we don't have to pick somebody, I guess, legally, like, once we say we're going to appoint somebody.
I think,
Well, let me chime in here for a
Yeah.
second,
Yep.
if you don't mind. I mean, I think optically, if the board puts out a request of interest in serving and you have interest, and you don't appoint that person, I think optically that has a real negative connotation to it.
Trying to make sure I'm understanding
Yeah.
what Don said.
So in my experience as superintendent in the previous district, went through something very similar. I think it's important to remember too, that Mr. Silver's, term ends in May, or June, whatever it be. So we're not talking about, a multi-year option here.
Right.
But in the previous district, there was, a number of people who were interested. That's where the idea of, a cover letter or a letter of interest, we should call it, a letter of interest, and then interviews, took place. Now you're talking about a significant amount of time. Okay, it's time to generate the interest, time for them to submit their letters of interest, time to interview. And you're looking probably conservatively, at maybe a December appointment. This would not be a quick turnaround in my experience.
For just a couple of months then.
Yes,
yeah,
And then have to run.
correct.
Yeah, I would say that given the fact that it would only be for a few months, I would just as soon let the voters decide come May. We can certainly make sure that people know, whether it be through a newsletter or something, that there's at least one open spot. So next May, there'd be 3 positions open.
no, 2, Cheryl and Alan were up
Okay.
next.
So, and I'm fine with that. Leave the board as it stands and let the people decide via vote next May.
Did I misunderstand? You saying something different?
No, I'm just stating how it was done the last time.
Yeah.
That this situation came up, it was that, but to Jack's point, you get in, December would be like probably the earliest. And then, move forward from there. I mean, you're in the budget season and all that other stuff. So at that point in time, it's kind of tough to get somebody up to speed on all the ongoings that are going on at this point in time.
I'm definitely okay with leaving the seat open until then.
Yeah, I guess my concern is that we send out the post-it and you get the cover letter, resume and all that other stuff. And we as a group decide say there's one or there's three, none of the one or the three are what we feel is right. You said that leaves a negative thing if we don't pick anybody, so maybe that's not necessarily the route to go. I would probably prefer to go and leave it empty if the turnaround wouldn't be till like January.
Right, and I think the opposite would hold true too, if we did. I mean, Donna's a great fit. But if we do pick somebody. There's always I always felt when we went through that process. I always felt like maybe there would be this underlying fear that, or thought that we were just picking our friend, when really none of us knew you.
No, like I said, I
Yeah.
know Jack a little bit, just working with him with sports boosters, and you know, my thought was pretty simple.
I guess I'd prefer to let the public pick versus us.
I
Even
agree
if
with
it's
that
up to
too. I'd like the
it's only
public
one
to
person
pick
running.
and also if we can do a better job of advertising that the positions are open and how many there are come that time around.
I mean, I feel like we do. I don't know how much. I feel like. we
Well,
don't get the word.
Yeah, I think hopefully you've noticed an improvement, especially on the side of social media in the past 6 months or so. And that's probably our best route is to advertising, for the board openings is through the Facebook page. And we can include it in our quarterly newsletters as well.
I think also running against incumbents sometimes deters people from running in an election, whereas now there's no incumbent, so it's wide open, and hopefully that can spur maybe a wider group of people who could be interested.
Any other discussion? So leave the vacancy open. Amanda, do we need a motion for all that? Okay,
This is just a discussion item. It's not a board action item.
okay. All right. A lot of people here might have a lot of comment tonight.
At this point, it's the approximate position and time that the board has designated to receive statements from individuals and groups. The board will review all statements, then respond appropriately at a future meeting. All persons in attendance are required to sign the attendance sheet and designate their representation status. For example, parent, teacher, bus driver, chamber of commerce, etc. There is a 2-minute time limit.
Take your time.
You're fine. Okay. Okay. I'm Kayla Sinicki and I'm a mom and, well, parent. And I am here to discuss the bag rule because I think this is where I should go after talking to Mr. Cervoni and Mr. McDonough. Yes? Yeah?
Yep.
Okay. I'm here today to discuss the tentative new rule to eliminate backpacks and totes from the schools for students. I have spent significant time processing why I'm so passionately offended by this rule, and what it comes down to is that I feel the administration and school board are demonstrating a clear misuse and overreach of power. When I called to speak with Mr. McDonough and Mr. Cervoni, my intention was to understand the reasoning behind the decision to take the bags away. What I found was there isn't a justifiable one. Though our conversation was mutually respectful and solution-focused, I was informed the rule was partially created to prevent kids from sneaking their phones into classrooms and partially as a result of concern for the excessive weight of the kids' backpacks. Upon hearing this, I want to present to you alternate solutions and the reasons why I feel this rule is not only unreasonable, but unnecessarily controlling. In regard to the new cell phone policy, eliminating bags or backpacks will not successfully stop anyone who wants to sneak a phone in from doing so. They are still able to use their binders, pockets, or inside their clothes. Eliminating backpacks doesn't eliminate phone use. It only makes compliance harder to monitor fairly. The core issue is student behavior with phones, not the containers they are in. Banning backpacks instead of encouraging compliance is a broad restriction that punishes all of the students rather than addressing the misuse directly. This takes the focus away from building responsibility, trust, and teaching behaviors and habits that help these kids use technology responsibly, safely, and respectfully. In regard to the excessive weight of backpacks, the solution can be altering the restriction from utilizing the extra large bag that can hold an entire day's worth of textbooks and supplies to using a typical JanSport bag or large tote bag, which can hold 1 to 2 classes worth of textbooks and supplies. This is still encouraging students to use lockers more often while preventing the chaos of rushing to their locker every single class and nothing to carry supplies in. These reasonably sized bags maintain the opportunity to build real-life skills by keeping their 6 to 8 classes worth of supplies neat and organized, and decreases the likelihood of items being lost or broken. Further, it gives students the chance to express themselves through personal style in a way that builds confidence. As a parent, it is important that in these formative years, my children build a strong sense of self and feel empowered in the choices they make. When they are told when to wake up, eat lunch, do their homework, and go to bed, something as simple as what you're wearing that day is an opportunity to build trust in your decision-making. Also, students with ADHD often rely on bags to stay organized. Children with physical or varying disabilities who need to carry around medical apparatus would face an additional burden if forced to carry all materials by hand. A policy that removes these bags entirely risks ostracizing or creating disadvantages, and allowing only them to use bags may cause resentment or expose a condition that may not have wanted to share with their peers. From a safety standpoint, there is no strong evidence that the removal actually improves safety. People are able to carry weapons on their person or freely access them from their locker in between classes. I would argue that it would be easier to hurt a higher number of people switching classes in a crowd or hallway than protected in an isolated classroom. You may wonder what these kids could carry in their bag on a daily basis. A bag may need at any time tampons or pads, a hairbrush, a small deodorant, hand sanitizer, water bottle, lip gloss, handheld mirror, their pens, pencil, and highlighter case, calculator, 1 or 2 notebooks, 1 or 2 textbooks, 1 or 2 folders, a Chromebook, agenda, and fidgets for kids who struggle with self-harm or focus. These are things that can and will be used throughout class at any given time. And that is with going to your locker every 1 to 2 classes. I would imagine the majority of the administration at the school and this school board often travel from home to work or maybe a cafe with a similar bag to hold your laptops, pens, and notebooks, requiring much less supplies than any of the students in school. Consider the inconvenience and disorganization having to lug around all of your things with just your hands. In fact, I implore you to try carrying your own belongings for the rest of the week without any use of a large bag. As a result of all of the information I presented here today, I hope you all can understand why this rule seems like a misuse and overreach of power for the students and for me. As a parent, I have been entrusted this administration and this elected board to advocate for the well-being of my kids and the student body in its entirety with absence in this building. With my absence. My expectation of all of you is to prioritize first the best interests of the students and secondly the teachers who are employed here, as they are the biggest population within this school. Over the years, I have been unable to be involved in the PTA, district meetings, and board meetings as a result of having a chronically ill child. Throughout that time, there have been decisions that don't fall in line with my overall goals for the mental development of these kids. As conditions have changed in my home, you will be seeing a lot more of me at all these meetings. I look forward to working with you to make decisions in the best interest of these 2 groups. I am hopeful my voice will be respected and heard from where I'm standing now so we can work together to make a difference and advocate for these kids and teachers. I know that this bag rule can be eradicated immediately as it is not formally part of the student handbook and has already been altered once since the first day of school. And I'm asking that you make this decision tonight upon the completion of what I have had to say. I appreciate your time and attention while I spoke. Also, thanks for not making her talk. She wanted to kill me. She's like, please. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No. Thank you. No. Anybody else?
Next, new business resignations. That upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the resignation of special education teacher Catherine Musso be accepted effective August 31st, 2025. The board and administration wish to thank Mrs. Musso for her 15 years of service to the district.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carried.
That upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the resignation of senior clerk typist Donna Bender be accepted effective September 12th, 2025. The board and administration wish to thank Ms. Bender for her 5 years of service to the district.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carried.
That upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the resignation of teacher aide Brittany Burkowski be accepted effective August 15th, 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carried.
That upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the resignation of bus driver David Camillo be accepted effective August 15th, 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carried.
New business appointments. That upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the following people be appointed as supervision personnel for the early morning program effective September 4th, 2025 through June 25th, 2026, at an hourly rate of $18 per hour. Jacqueline Campfield, Cheryl Dunmeyer, Tina Wrigley, Amanda Schmira, who's a one-on-one teacher aide at CSEA contract rate.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carried.
That upon the recommendation of the superintendent, all district teacher aides be appointed as an extracurricular teacher aide substitute for the 2025-2026 school year.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carried.
That upon the recommendation of the superintendent, all Eden Teacher Association members and Eden Central School District teacher substitutes be approved as home instructors for the 2025-2026 school year.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carried.
That upon the recommendation of the superintendent, after successfully completing her probationary period, Isabella Hubert be permanently appointed as a teacher aide effective October 27th, 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carried.
That upon the recommendation of the superintendent, after successfully completing his probationary period, Garrison Henry be permanently appointed as a laborer effective October 10th, 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carried.
That upon the recommendation of the superintendent, Rachel Kerr, who is initially certified in students with disabilities 1 through 6 and childhood education 1 through 6, is hereby appointed to a probationary period in the special education tenure area for a probationary period commencing on September 1st, 2025 and ending on August 31st, 2029, unless extended in accordance with the law. This expiration date is tentative and conditional only, except to the extent required by the applicable provisions of Section 3012 of Education Law. In order to be granted tenure, the teacher must receive composite or overall annual professional performance review ratings pursuant to Section 3012D of the Education Law of either effective or highly effective in at least 3 of the 4 preceding years. And if the teacher receives an ineffective composite or overall rating in the final year of the probationary period, the teacher shall not be eligible for tenure at that time. Salary is based upon ETA contract bachelor's step 1.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes. I do not believe that she should be appointed in the special education tenure area. She's a 3rd grade teacher.
Yeah.
So I think we need to make an adjustment to this proposition.
Take that section out, certified with students with disabilities, remove that.
Correct. So the board is clear. There's no issue with the candidate whatsoever. It is just the language in this, in the recommended action. So
Should I reread it?
the entire thing, yes.
No.
No. The only difference would be she is certified to students with disabilities 1 through 6 and childhood education 1 through 6. She's hereby appointed to a probationary position in the childhood education tenure area.
You want to second that, Marlene?
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carried.
That upon the recommendation of the superintendent, L.A. Widener be appointed 0.51 FTE art teacher effective September 1st, 2025, and ending June 30th, 2026. Salary is based upon ETA contract bachelor's step 1.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carried.
That upon the recommendation of the superintendent, Stephen McDonald be appointed on probation as cafeteria monitor effective September 2nd, 2025, and ending March 1st, 2026. Salary is based upon CSEA contract level 2, step 1.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carried.
That upon the recommendation of the superintendent, Jeffrey Evans be appointed on probation as a cafeteria monitor and bus attendant effective September 2nd, 2025, and ending March 1st, 2026. Salary is based upon CSEA contract level 2, step 1, and level 4, step 1.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carried.
That upon the recommendation of the superintendent, Dawn Ovitt be appointed on probation as a bus attendant effective September 2nd, 2025, and ending March 1st, 2026. Salary is based upon CSEA contract level 4, step 1.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carried.
That upon the recommendation of the superintendent, Amy North be appointed on probation as a senior clerk typist effective September 16th, 2025. Salary is based upon CSEA contract level 6, step 4. Note, Ms. North's start date is approximated, but it will not be later than October 1st, 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carried.
That upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Eden Central School Board of Education hereby approves the Eden Teachers Association, ETA, contract dated July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2029.
Second.
Any discussion? Anybody? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carried. 4-year contract.
That upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the revised school tax collection agreement be approved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carried.
That upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the draft external audit report for fiscal year end, June 30th, 2025, presented and prepared by Drescher Malecki be approved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carried.
That upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education authorize a transfer of 2024-2025 unassigned fund balance into the following reserves as of June 30th, 2025. Workers' Compensation Reserve, 200,000. Retirement Contribution Reserve, ERS, 700,000. Retirement Contribution Reserve, TRS, 255,231. Capital Reserve Building, 1,107,916.21. Capital Reserve Vehicles Buses, 500,000.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carried.
That upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the following individuals be approved as a 19A trainer for the Eden Central School 2025-2026 school year. Gordon Rogers, Elizabeth Rogers, James Sullivan, and Cody Shamrock.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carried.
That upon the recommendation of the superintendent, a la carte pricing for an adult lunch entree be revised to $5.20 and be approved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carried.
That upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the cafeteria monitor appointment for Julie Klopp, effective September 4th, 2025, be rescinded.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carried.
That upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the transportation route spreadsheet be approved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carried.
Next, we have business report from Mrs. May.
Okay, so I'll keep this kind of brief, just two things. So our annual external audit, as Charles had reported on earlier from Drescher Malucky, is finalized. We did have a small surplus for the 24-25 school year, which is important, so that we were able to fund reserves. So one of them was the capital reserve, which would offset a future capital project, as well as some of our more generalized reserves for retirement, workers' comp, benefits. And that's important because if you remember when we were building the budget for 25-26, we were using additional reserves to offset or close that budget gap. So by having additional reserves in our balances, we can pull from those if needed throughout the year. And then secondly, the district is in the process of submitting a health insurance consultant RFP out. It's kind of the first step in looking at revamping some of the way we structure our health insurance for both the district savings and potentially for employee savings on health insurance costs. So that RFP should be going out within the next week or so, with the process kind of concluding in either the end of November or December for a new health insurance consultant.
Next, we have the superintendent's report. Mr.
Jackie,
Trujillo.
I will be brief. Also, we had an absolutely fantastic opening to our school year. Kudos to Mary Banco and our transportation department. I think that was the smoothest first bus runs we've ever had, where we delivered students safely to school on time and got them home on time as well, which is always a bonus, right? So I appreciate the comments heard earlier about the change in backpacks, and I will review the information that was presented with Mr. McDonough and Mr. Cervoni tomorrow and be in touch with you. Did you sign in, by the way? Okay, thank you. That's not when you present publicly, it's not a back and forth, but I'm going to take a moment to reply just in a snippet. It's not a board decision on backpacks. That it was a building level decision that I did support and I do support, but I will talk to them about some of your suggestions and see if modifications are warranted, and then I'll be in touch with you directly. Okay. I want to welcome Dave Lowry from the Area County Association of School Boards. Thanks for joining us, Dave. Appreciate you being here. And finally, before that epic offensive showing of a football game on Friday night, I attended the GLP Eden Elementary Welcome Back Bash that was sponsored by the PTA. There were children everywhere in that building and behind the building as well. It was a great event. Hopefully that turns into an annual happening. A lot of happy faces, a lot of happy parents watching their kids have fun and do those fun back to school type things.
Next, we have student report, Nora Bebeck.
This September, we welcome back the Just Say Hello members, welcome back teachers, staff, and students on September 2nd. Open house took place on Wednesday, September 10th from 6 to 8 p.m. On Saturday, September 20th, 2025, 35 students will be attending the Outsiders at Shays with Mrs. Doctor. Eden Middle School Student Council elections take place this week. Just Say Hello September meeting. All teachers, staff, and students will be invited to have cookies and a drink and get to know each other in the cafeteria after school.
Thank you.
Nice job.
Board report, roundtable. Or horseshoe table.
I don't have anything
I'm
at the
good.
moment.
Just the bash at the GLP. My little great nephew has not stopped talking about it since Friday. So he started UPK this year and he's loving it. Absolutely loving it. So great job.
Mr. Sortisio, any update on the after school
So the YMCA after school
Yeah.
program, the only update I have is the Department of Child and Family Services copied me in on a letter to the Y that there were 2 areas that they needed to shore up before they could get approval. They essentially need licensure to operate the program. They were really 2 minor things. One, the application was incomplete, and the other was there was a claim that there were loose wires in the cafeteria at Eden Elementary. So I went to the cafeteria myself. The only wire that I saw was, I believe it was a cable, meaning, for cable TV.
Cable, data cable
Um,
or something, yeah.
So that's an easy fix, but that's the only update I have at this point.
Okay.
So we're at the mercy of the state and their review process.
Good. I got nothing.
I actually, I think do you remember last week or a couple weeks ago when I asked you where the flag was? There was a flag in the circle. Do
Mhm.
we not have one because we have one here or?
So I don't have your answer.
Okay.
Was
I'm just
there was it the flag in the circle that you sent a picture of?
Yeah, it's just the Eden flag.
Yeah.
At half mast.
I'll talk with Joe Farr tomorrow about that. I know that there was a switch about a year ago because we were flying 2 flags and apparently you're only supposed to fly 1 flag.
Yeah.
But we better be flying at least one.
One.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, yes, it's flag etiquette. I don't know if it's actually a law, but it's etiquette.
Etiquette, yeah.
The next regular Board of Education meeting is October 20th, 2025 at 6 PM in the middle school, high school library. That upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education enter executive session to discuss the employment history of a particular person or persons.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.